Yesterday we had a lot of discussion about the One Nation push to abolish the excise on alcohol served at licensed venues. It's part of a plan to put, Pauline Hanson says, money in Australian pockets. She says she wants to support small businesses that are struggling. There is a cost of living crisis going on at the moment, and I think she's quite right. A lot of Australians now are opting out of going out and having a big night because it's a bloody expensive exercise. I wonder, and it'd be very interesting to see if bottle shop and home drinking bottle shop sales and home drinking has escalated, because it is a very, very expensive thing to go out. Takeaway alcohol. It is a lot cheaper to go home and have people over rather than go out to a restaurant. And it's the restaurant that's missing out on all that money, and they're the people trying to support jobs. There's a few other things I wanted to talk to the leader of One Nation about, Pauline Hanson, but we'll say good day first. Senator, once again, good morning. Welcome to the Night Shift Triple M.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me on, Luke. Great to be on.
Senator, the first story, though, and this is the big story. There are rumours, and there have been rumours since last year, but they seem to have escalated in the last 24 hours. Is it true that Barnaby Joyce, the once leader of the National Party, he was once the Deputy Prime Minister, is it true that Barnaby Joyce is joining One Nation?
No, he's not. All right. So after the incident that happened in Canberra last year, some of his colleagues thought he should leave Parliament. And when I heard this, I thought, no, I like Barnaby. I like his common sense approach. I like the way he says it, the way he thinks, as same as I do. And I thought, no, we can't lose good people in Parliament. So what I did, I approached Barnaby to actually come across to One Nation. And his answer was no. So he's remained very loyal to the National Party, and I take my hat off to him for that. But no, he's not coming across to One Nation.
When you bring people to One Nation that share your ideology, but they're also ex-leaders, and I'm talking about Mark Latham, for example, here, sometimes it can end in tears, though, can't it?
It certainly has done, I can tell you that. But Mark Latham, I thought, had something to offer with these policies, education, that type of thing. But Mark Latham is man unto himself, and he was not a team player. So there I had troubles with it. So,
but what makes you think Barnaby would be?
Barnaby's a different character to Mark Latham.
We'll leave it there?
Yes.
We'll leave it there before I have to get legal to okay this interview. All right, we'll leave it there. But you're putting an end to the rumours right here, right now. Is this a scoop for the Night Shift?
It is a scoop. Yes, you're the first media outlet I've spoken about this. I haven't even been asked if it was the truth. They've got a story out today, so you are the first that I've told this to, Luke.
All right, you heard it here on the Night Shift.
I am doing a video clip, and I'm putting it up my Facebook page to clarify the matter.
Okay, but you heard it here first.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about your thoughts on abolishing the excise on alcohol at licensed venues. Now, you're not talking about bottle shops. You're not talking about those other liquor outlets. You're talking about pubs, clubs and restaurants. Take us through it.
Okay, the problem is that a lot of people are not socialising anymore. I think COVID had a big impact on people. So what's happening now, these venues that I speak to quite often, they're actually telling me they've got a drop in patronage, the people going there to actually have a meal or even buy a drink because people can't afford it. Now, I went and had most schooners of beer that I've bought, range from $11.50 to $13 a schooner. It's a lot of money. The old Aussie way of life is, oh, listen, mate, let's go and have a beer on a hot day after a day's work, or the workers like to go together on a Friday afternoon at the end of the week, or the bosses take them to have a drink. Well, they can't afford it. So a lot of people aren't socialising anymore. So what I want to do is drop the excise tax in the venues, not at the bottle shops, right? And at the venues so that people will actually go back to these venues. Also think that these venues do a lot for the communities because a lot of these clubs, they actually give monies back to the community. and social groups or sporting groups and organisations and kids sports and that type of thing. So I think that we need to get people out there socialising instead of sitting home by themselves, binge drinking, get them back in there to have a glass of wine or a beer. And I'm talking about pensioners as well, who would dearly love to socialise. But I tell you what, the big problem is a lot of the young ones, and possibly not so young, are actually binge drinking before they go out or taking drugs for a hit. So therefore they know that alcohol is too expensive in the clubs and pubs and restaurants where they go. So that's a big problem that we have.
Senator Pauline Hanson is with us. I guess also the clubs and pubs and the restaurants, they employ people. And if people aren't going to go out and socialise, these people are. It's going to be a struggle for these places to keep going, unless, of course, you're financed by lots and lots and lots of poker machines.
They're exactly right. And see, a lot of these country pubs are relying on the patronage of people coming in and have a cold beer. And see, a lot of them are struggling as I travel around the country quite extensively in rural and regional areas. So they're only relying on the traveller coming through. A lot of these grey nomads, they carry their own alcohol. So when they camp at night, but they may stop and have a beer in a town through the day. It's getting too expensive for them. That's why it needs to be reined in. A lot of the hospitality industry is really going under, and they need a helping hand. It's not going to cost. You see, the government makes an excise tax on alcohol about $4 billion a year. So it can be done. They're not going to lose the $4 billion because most of it will go through the sales of the bottle shop. But to actually help these venues, they're excited about it. They think it's a fantastic policy that I have, and they're excited about it.
Senator, you've probably already predicted this, but I predict that you'll get some backlash, some pushback from the Greens and the Wokes saying, oh, what's Senator Hanson talking about? She's only going to encourage alcoholism now.
No, it's not actually.
You'll get that. You'll get it.
I know all these brain dead people out there who don't look at the end result of it. The fact is, drinking alcohol is illegal. It is legal, right? So another thing is that responsible alcohol. So these people can't keep serving the people if they're under the weather or they've had too much drink.
Yeah.
So also you have security at the hotels, whereas you can't control that in the home. So it's best
true.
to do.
That's true. That's true. Unless you have a bouncer who is trained in responsible service of alcohol policy. Senator Hanson, we have a scourge of anti-Semitism happening in Australia now. What do you put this down to? Because it's concerning. It's not the Australia I grew up in.
And that's my words, and it's what I have been saying for many years now. And I said it in my main speech for the Senate in 2016. It concerns me greatly because people have come and spoken to me about it over the years, and they see it happening in their suburbs, especially in the western suburbs of Sydney, and they're very concerned about it. You know, these two nurses, their comments on that video clip was abhorrent, it was disgusting, and I was in total shock. But what they wanted to do was virtually saying they wanted to kill people and make their life hell, and that's not its own way. So they're talking about the Jews, but if you walked in there with a cross and you're a Christian, how do you know you're not going to be treated the same as what they want to treat the Jews? I wouldn't be going to go anywhere near the Bankstown Hospital, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't go anywhere near the place.
Isn't it amazing? The young girl who was Australian-born of Middle Eastern background, she had to be allegedly hospitalised because of mental health concerns. Wouldn't it be ironic if she was treated at that hospital by a Jewish nurse and doctor?
Well, it would be ironic, but I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. It was said with the intent that it was meant to be, and that's for the venom that I've picked up in that video clip of how they feel about it. This is not the country that we want. And when the government, and I blame Albanese and I blame the premiers and I blame the university chancellors of allowing this to happen, because when they had the protest rallies on the streets, after what happened in Israel, they never stamped it out. They never stopped them. They actually dragged the police actually told the Jews to get off the street because they were inciting violence, and they couldn't even walk the streets. And also, you had thousands of people there waving the Palestinian flags. This is all orchestrated to push for Islam, the ideology of Islam. It's got nothing to do with Israel. They thought they would get the backing from the people in Australia because there were so many people on the streets protesting in support of Palestine. So the whole fact is it's being backlashed against them because that's not how common sense Australians think. It's not right. And that's why they've copped a backlash.
Pauline Hanson's with us. Look, we've only got a short time and I've got to try and squeeze in as many topics as I can.
Oh.
We found out over the weekend that only 4 in 10 Australians are watching the ABC. They get a tax-funded budget of $1.1 billion a year, and they're asking for an extra $40 million in 2 years' time. What are your thoughts?
Cut it. Get rid of the ABC. I've made that comment before. If people want to actually sign up to it, they can. Let it go commercialised, sell off the ABC. It can go commercialised if they want to, like any other one, and it depends on the public public watching it. That's where they'll get the money from. I think they're hopeless. I think they're biased. They're not fair and just, and it's past the use-by date for the Australian people.
Okay, and definitely no Barnaby Joyce, not in the near future.
No, Barnaby Joyce.
Is it an open offer? If he changes...
No, Barnaby's told me no. He's loyal to the Nationals.
But people change their mind.
Barnaby, I think, gave me a firm no.
Did he?
I'd love to have him on board. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Like I said, we think the same. They're fighters for Australians, and he's a straight talk, and that's what I like. I'm sick of these people who tell the public one thing and do differently on the floor of Parliament. We may not agree with everything, but the fact is that I think Barnaby's there and his heart's in the right place for the people in the country.
Well, I've got to tell you this. He's very, very popular in Tamworth. He's very popular in his electorate.
He is very popular, and I do hope that he's around for a bit longer. And I wish his party would actually appreciate him more, because the public do.
People of New England love him. All right, Senator Hanson, always good to catch up. We'll do it again soon. Have a good day. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the scoop.
My pleasure, Luke. It was great to give you the scoop, because you go right across the nation, and I think people need to know the truth about that. So it's my pleasure to give you the scoop.
Thank you, Senator. Talk soon.
Bye, Luke. Bye.